You make this distinction between alive time and dead time in life. I had come to you, I was then the director of marketing in American Apparel, and I wasn't happy. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do next. I was thinking about writing a book. I could see that there was somewhat of a ceiling on my advancement there. There was craziness and chaos, and I had just started to make a good amount of money there, and I was unhappy and thinking about what I would do. And that's actually when you said, look, maybe this is going to go on for another year. Maybe it's going to go on for 6 months. This can go one of two ways for you. You said this could be a live time for you, or it could be dead time. You could wait it out. You could just sit there. You could collect your paychecks, or you could decide to seize this moment and make it a new beginning of some kind, make it the first steps towards wherever you end up going next. You could look back on this period as one of the most sort of fond and fruitful periods of your life. You said this could be what sets the table for the book that you're going to write or the new chapter in your career. It just comes down to that choice of a live time or dead time. And I remember I wrote it down on a note card and I framed it and I put it on my wall. I try to think about it every time I'm at a crossroads, every time I go through something, every time I'm stuck. I just try to think of that sort of dichotomy that you laid down. And I think a live time versus dead time, that's the fork in the road between a sort of a life worth living and a life filled with regret and disappointment.
Well, I never really knew the full brunt of this story. I'm glad I'm hearing it now.
I'm just curious what that means to you and maybe how you're thinking about a live time being in California, subject to a shelter in place, and having, because of your stroke, just generally been a lot less mobile over the last year and a half or so. How do you think about a live time versus dead time day to day?
The idea was that the time that you are alive is the only real possession that you have. Everything else that you have can be taken away from you. Your family, your possessions, your house, your cars, etc. But that time that you have to live, that you're alive, is your only true possession. And you can give it away, and you can give it away by working for other people. They own your time, and you can be miserable. You can give it away by reaching for external pleasures and distractions. That means that the time that you have is really, you're a slave to these different passions and these different obsessions that you have, or you can make it your own. You can actually come and possess it and take ownership of this time and make each moment count. And when you do that, that means that that time is yours. It's alive within you. It's green. It's growing. You own it and you're making it happen. Now, for me, it's a very painful process. I mean, believe me, people are suffering much worse than I am right now. So I'm very aware of that. But prior to the pandemic, I was kind of a prisoner in that I'm extremely dependent. I had a very active life. My whole life was taking hikes and swimming and mountain biking and getting out of my office. It was my only way of getting out of my mind and all of my thinking. And that was completely taken away from me. So like somebody in prison, I had to sort of learn to deal with that and create my own time. And, you know, there are moments where I have problems. It's a constant struggle. So those moments where I have to do therapy every day. This morning I did 2 hours and 15 minutes of therapy, and it's very boring. I can't explain to you how boring it is. The most excruciatingly boring exercises, trying to retrain your left thigh and your left hip bone to move a certain way. And then these kind of weight exercises that are also very boring. That's kind of feels like dead time to me. But how do I make that alive? Well, I turn off all the TV and the music and all the usual distractions, and I use that time to focus very deeply on my body. So I'm learning to use certain muscles, and I'm focusing on those muscles so intensely so that I can begin to feel them. So it's turning into a live time in that I'm using this very boring routine to know my own muscles on a very deep level. And I haven't succeeded completely. I'm getting better at it. But so that now when I'm walking, because I've had to completely relearn how to walk and I still can't really walk that well, I'm trying to go, can I really feel those glutes as I'm trying to move my left leg? Is there a way for me to feel my left knee bending more? So I'm using that to get in touch with my body, and it feels like a constant challenge, and it's exciting. So a lifetime there is making it something that's like a skill and a thought that's my own that I can use afterwards, and that's kind of an enlivening thing. Dead time in that sense would be putting on a movie or listening to the news or listening to some music in my headphones or whatever, or just zoning out. That would be dead time. So I'm transferring that. And then when it comes time for my 4 or 5 hours of working on the book, that is pure alive time for me, because that's the most joy that I get out of it. I completely immerse my brain in the experiences and the thoughts of the books that I'm reading and the note cards I'm taking. I'm trapped in my office, but when I read a book on ancient history, when I read a book about the ancient Greek poet Sappho, I'm transported to ancient Greece, to the 7th century BC. It's like I'm traveling all of the time, and it's exciting. I'm not in my office anymore. I'm out there in the world. I'm in other people's brains, other people's ideas. Use this time to get outside of yourself and immerse yourself in great philosophy, in great history, in great biographies. That's creating a lifetime. Another way of looking at it, which I've always think of, is making things your own. Everything that you do in life is a process of making it your own. Your time, your ideas, your mental life, on and on and on. That's sort of the wider philosophy behind this.
Too often, most of us live in this dead time, but we don't have to. Look, why kill time when you could seize it, when you could use it, when you could get the most out of it? That's what the Stoics want you to be thinking about. That's what Robert Greene was talking about when he made this distinction between alive time and dead time. What I've been trying to do is get the most out of this, and that's why we designed this Daily Stoic Alive Time Challenge that will help you do that. It's 14 days of exercises and audio messages and readings that will help you seize this moment, that will help you be of use to your fellow citizens, connect with the people that you care about most, and most importantly, develop habits and skills and ways of thinking that will help you get through this admittedly difficult time. We built this challenge in such a way that will help teach you how to get alive time, not only over these next 14 days, the 2 weeks we're stuck, or the 6 weeks, or however long this goes, or whatever life looks like after this, but a way to carry that forward with you in the rest of your life. Hey, thanks for watching Daily Stoic. If you want to learn more about Stoicism, you can check out some of our other videos here. Subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. Keep learning, keep studying, and remember those 4 Stoic virtues: courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom.